Hey y'all, Mimi here, and welcome to the podcast where the Y in your journey is silent. First, I want to say congratulations to everybody that got through their first week. If no one told you that they're proud of you, I'm telling you that I'm proud of you. So, round of applause. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into it because I don't know, y'all. This week really touched me. It really did. And I really feel like this whole week is about just having faith because just like they always say, it just takes this much faith, amount of a mustard seed, in order for you to start to believe. That's what I really feel like this whole Genesis 1 through 21 was mainly about, just having faith in God. I don't really want to talk too much about Adam and Eve because I feel like that's pretty black and white. But when I was reading it, it made me think about how women are in life today. And I mean, if you read the story, then you know that Eve is the reason why everything happened, reason why people got cursed by God. So I will say, no shade, no tea, but women, we took the first L. We took the first L. It wasn't the men. We did it. It was our fault. I was reading it, like I said, it made me think of how women think today, and I really feel like we have a very huge influence on how men act in our generation. Where I'm going with that is, think about what women today always talk like, even in music and movies and stuff like that, we always talk about how we want a man that has money. And I feel like that's the reason why a lot of guys are mainly about chasing a bag, trying to get some money and selling drugs and doing dogs and doing stuff like that, because we make it known that that's what we want. It makes me think about how our parents or our grandparents or our great-grandparents, how they stayed together for 20, 30, 40, 50 years because they didn't think like that back then. They wanted just to be housewives and cook and clean and do stuff like that. Nowadays, we want men to buy this and buy that. And it's like, we always just want men to trick on us and take us this place and pay all of our bills and stuff like that. And I just want women to realize how big of an influence they have on men today. If we were to be like, we want a man, if every woman in the world was to be like, I want a 9-to-5 man that is coming home every night, not going out, you think that men are still going to be out here tricking on people and selling drugs, stuff like that? No, they're going to do what they have to do in order to get the woman that they want. So I want y'all to sip on that and think about that, because at the end of the day, we set the pace on how these men live their life. And that's nothing but facts. Because like I said, think about your parents and your grandparents. If we were to say that we don't like that, if every woman was to say that we don't like that, do you think a man is really about to be out here tricking on everybody? No, they're going to switch it up real quick. I just want y'all to realize that we attract what we stand for. If you love yourself, respect yourself, a man is not going to have no choice but to come correct when it comes to you. Think about that. Like I said, I didn't really want to jump too heavy into Adam and Eve because that's pretty black and white, but that is what was heavy on my mind when I was reading that. But let's go ahead and jump into the story of Cain and Abel. So this is one of my favorite stories because if you know me, then you know that I talk a lot about temptation and how it is constantly looking for you and trying to feast on you. And so in the story of Cain and Abel, they are Adam and Eve's sons. And God came down and he told them that he would like for them to bring him a gift. So Cain, who was the tiller of the ground, and Abel, who actually took care of the livestock. So Abel sent God, well, he came and he gave God his first calf that was born, where Cain gave him fruit from the ground. So God liked Abel's gift better than Cain's, and that made Cain really upset. So God asked him, like, why are you so mad that I don't like your gifts? Does that mean that sin is knocking on your door? In Genesis 4:7, God said, if you do well, will you not be accepted? If you don't do well, is sin knocking on your door? Because its only desire is to feast off of you. And it's up to you to overcome it. So y'all, let me tell y'all how much this means to me, because I feel like this goes back to all different types of decision making. It talks about, I'm going to just go ahead and tell y'all a story, just talk about myself. This story really touched my heart because I feel like this is what I was going through for a very long time, and something that I had to realize in myself. Not saying I wasn't like jealous or nothing like that, but I was falling into temptation a lot. And my temptation was alcohol and weed. I'm going to just say it. It was alcohol and weed. And so if you watched my first video, then you saw where I said that I was really heartbroken. And since I was heartbroken, y'all, when I say I was drinking so much, like I did not go a day without drinking. I was drinking bottles, drinking wine. I was doing anything for me not to feel normal. I hated being sober. I'm gonna just say that I hated being sober. And I just had to realize that that was not good for me because I made so many bad decisions off of me drinking. And I don't want to go into the bad decisions that I was making, but I was making a lot of bad decisions. And I had to pay the price for that. Every action has a reaction, and you really have to be cautious about what you're doing because just like in the Bible, temptation is literally waiting for you to mess up. And when I say that, y'all, when I say my faith is so big, like I gotta tell y'all, when I think about everything that I do, I be like, dang, should I listen to this song? Because if I listen to this song, maybe I'm gonna start smoking. I promise y'all, that's really how I think. Like, I talk to God so much, and I ask him about every decision that I make because it's that easy. Like, let's say I'm gonna just be honest, like I have been procrastinating so hard when it comes to this podcast, and mainly it's because I'm a heavy smoker. I know that I should not do that, and I really want to stop, and I'm going to stop starting the day. Start the day. But I am gonna stop though. I promise y'all, I'm gonna stop. I can't believe myself when I'm saying that. But when I smoke, I get sleepy. I want to go to sleep. I get tired, and then I don't want to do anything because I'm going to sleep. I had to realize within myself that me smoking really throws me off of my game when it comes to the things that I want to get done. Like, I feel like this podcast is really my purpose in life, and me smoking, I feel like that is temptation's way of getting me to procrastinate or getting me to not do what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I really want everyone to realize that temptation is everywhere. If it can be a man, and I feel like God uses people when he's trying to talk to you. So temptation can be a man, it can be going out, it can be just doing anything that is going to knock you off of your game. And y'all, doing anything negative, like even if your friend is sending you a text message and it's of somebody else and she just talking stuff about that person, that is temptation trying to knock you off your game. Do not fall for it. Stay focused, y'all. Well, temptation is literally always lurking at your door, and it's trying to find any way to slip in. The enemy is going to slip in any way that he can get. Like, one thing that my sister always tells me is that, and one thing about myself is whenever I'm praying, if I'm not talking out loud, if I'm praying in my head, then my mind start getting jumbled. And that is one thing that I feel like that's the enemy trying to knock me off my game, trying to get me not to talk to God, because I feel like that my faith and my spirituality has grown so much that the enemy temptation has been trying every single thing that they can do in order to knock me off my game. So I want y'all to think about that. Think about everything that you do when it comes to decision making. Pray about it. Ask God about it, because he is not going to steer you wrong. Temptation is literally waiting on you. It is there. It's right here. It's like, I really think when I'm making decisions, I really think of, like, on movies when they got like the devil and the angel on their shoulders. That's literally how I think about things, because you have to, because the wrong move can get you the wrong consequences. And I just want y'all to really think about and pray about what you guys do from here on out. But after the Cain and Abel story, we went into the story of Abram. And the story of Abram, I say, that also really touches me and resonates with my life today because, like I said before, my faith has grown so strong. Like, when I say I put everything in God's hands, I really, really, really do. And when you think about Abraham's story, that's all that he had to do. That's all that he did was put his trust into God. The main thing that I want to touch on is how God told Abram to leave everything that he know. And of course, Abram was a little bit skeptical about it at first because he's like, okay, you're telling me to leave my home, leave my family, leave the people that I love, and then you're going to do this for me. And yes, it might seem 100% impossible. Like, God told Abram to leave everything that he know, and then in the end, he was going to be blessed. And y'all, that really touched me because I feel like that's what I'm doing now. I'm leaving everything that I know and to do this podcast. I usually work office jobs, or before all of this, I was actually going to school, and I dropped out of that. I stopped going to school, and I actually stopped working and everything. And when I say ever since I jumped deep into my Bible, God has showed me He has showed me that He really loves me. He has showed me His grace. He showed me His mercy, and I feel like that's the reason why I dived into this podcast. When it comes to the promises of God, you are not, no matter how long they take, it might take some time, but they're gonna happen. So you're never to take matters into your own hands. And I will say that I have done that multiple times. And one example that I'm gonna give y'all is my car. I did some illegal. I don't want to incriminate myself. The phone's gonna be like, she did what? You did what? I did some things for my car, y'all. Not nothing like with no news or nothing like that. But I did some things that I shouldn't be doing for my car, and I feel like God is cleansing me from that. I really feel like that's one thing that I had to learn myself, is not to take things into my own hands when it comes to God's promises. Now, y'all, I ain't got my car. Somebody stole it. Someone rear-ended my car while I was asleep. And then someone hit me in my car, messed it up. And then someone stole it. And I'm not paying to get it out because it costs way too much. So now I am without a vehicle. And I feel like that was God's way of cleansing me from things that I should not have been doing. Because now, like with my podcast and stuff like that, I feel like this is my purpose, and with this, I'm going to be able to get everything that I prayed for because I'm doing it the right way, and I'm not taking shortcuts, and I'm not cheating my way out of life. And that's one thing that I will say that I've done, and now everything that I've cheated my way into getting is getting taken from me like that in a blink of an eye. So I really want y'all to think about just doing things the right way. Don't cheat your way through life, because the quicker you get it, the quicker it'll leave your life. And it's been really hard for me thinking about that, because I've been having my car for so long, and now I don't have it. I have a whole son, and I can't get to places that I want to get. So do not take matters into your own hands when it comes to God's promises. When He said He's going to do something, no matter how long it's going to take, it's going to happen. And that whole story came from where God told Abram and He told Sarah that they were going to have children, but it took 13 years from that day for her to have their kid. And mind you, Sarah was 90 and Abram was 100. So at this point, she don't think that is possible. So what she did was she took matters into her own hands, and she had Abram lay and sleep with her maid, Hagar. And then the consequences to that is that Hagar hated Sarah for that. Once Sarah had her baby, Hagar hated her from that day forward because now they got the same baby daddy. And now she like, okay, that was my baby daddy first, and now you got a kid by him. You made him label me to have a kid, and now you have a kid. And then she's super old at that point. So it's like, they got beef. So you got to think about just waiting it out because, like I said, they were old. People don't have kids that old. That's a miracle. Miracles just take a little bit more time than what you think. So I really want y'all to let that resonate with y'all. We take matters into our own hands when it comes to the things that we want to do in life, and instead of praying about it and asking God for guidance. So that's one thing that I really want everyone to work on, is just, and myself as well, asking God for guidance when it comes to the things that we want out of life. Because once you take those matters into your own hands, it can go left, right, sideways, straight, backwards. It can go every way but loose. It will go every which way than the way that you want it to go. Ask God, and He will show you the way because He knows. He knows. So I want to go over the questions that I'm going to be asking you guys to put in your journal because I want to answer them on the podcast too. So the first question is, how did you handle situations that seemed impossible? And my answer to that question is, I would usually give up. And that's facts. I would usually just give up and just do something else. Like, I was supposed to do lashes. I gave up on that. I went to school for real estate. I gave up on that. Never took my test. And then I went to school for dental assisting, and I quit that as well. So I was a big, you know what, I'm going to just stop doing it. And then I will move on to something different. I did some things that I should not have been doing. And it was to the point where I was like, I'm going to get a car by any means necessary. So I really took matters into my own hands to get that car. And now it's gone. Next question is, how would you handle things now? Now, honestly, today, I pray about everything. I ask God for the guidance, and I ask God on how should I move to do this, and what do I need to do to get this. So I pray and I ask Him what I need to do to get where I need to be. So that is my answers for that question. And if you guys want to answer your questions and you want to show me, you can DM them to me. And if you want to post them and tag me, you can do that too. But it's up to y'all. I don't really want to read y'all journals, but if you want me to read them, I will, because I'm a little nosy. I got my journal now, y'all, because if you watched my video, my introduction video, that you saw where I want to do something called soaps. And I do want to go over my soap for Genesis 1 through 21 because, like I said, this is some of my favorite stories in the Bible because they really touch me, and I feel like they really resonate with how life is today and just how we should move when it comes to having faith and trusting God and stuff like that. So the S, which stands for scripture, I put is Genesis 15:1. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in his vision, saying, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your exceedingly great reward." So my observation to that is, God was telling Abram to trust in Him and to not be afraid of the journey of the task God gave him. The Lord was assuring Abram that He is His shield and He will protect him in the journey. Although Abram was doubtful of what would lie ahead, he trusted in God because He has proven His awesomeness and mercy. In the end, Abram did as God said, and he was given the land he was promised. My application, which is the A, I put, this scripture is telling me to trust in the Lord when He shows you the way. He already has your path set in stone. If He, the Lord, our Creator, is showing us how to walk with Him and not doubt ourselves, we will be blessed in the end. Trust in the Lord, for He knows. So I don't really want to go over my prayer because I feel like your prayers are really personal, and that's between you and God. So, but if you guys want me to pray on here or something, or give you or pray for you or something, then you can DM me and I can do that for you. But I don't want to tell you all my prayers because that's between me and Jesus. That was my soaps for this week for Genesis 1 through 21. And hopefully you guys take that and you're able to write your own soaps. So for week 2, we're going to be reading Genesis 22 through 46. And make sure that you guys are staying tuned and looking at the podcast Instagram, because that is going to show you what you're supposed to read on each day. One thing that I want to make clear is this is my point of view of what I'm reading. Everyone doesn't think like me. It's up to you to translate it how you would like to translate it, but this is me giving my own feedback on what I read. So that was the end of this week's episode, y'all. Give me a hand clap. But make sure that you're following me on all of my social medias, which will be posted right here. I'm on every platform, because that is where I'm going to be posting the questions and the reading list and just content all the way. Can't wait to hear from y'all, and I can't wait to speak about week 2.